What's going on, guys? You're tuned into another installment of the Money Master series from Teaching Money Mastery. I'm your host, Andrew Alamina, here with my co-host,
Quatran.
And in the Money Master series, we like to sit down and talk to people our age that are doing some pretty awesome things in either their careers or their businesses, and try and find out from them, how did they get started doing what they're doing, get their perspective on money and success and life in general, and then try and get for you guys some objective insights that you can take, apply to your own life, and achieve your own version of success.
Yeah, so today's guest, we have our good friend, creative director, Owen Zubek. Owen, how you doing, man?
What's going on, boys? How we doing? How we doing? I'm all right. I'm all right.
Yeah, so just to give you guys some background on Owen. So Owen's a 20-year-old college student here in the Cleveland area, but when he's not, running to class and reading books and all that stuff, he's creating content for some of the coolest brands out there, like Lululemon, Porsche. He's shot video for MGK, which is a pretty big rapper. So I guess, Owen, take us back to the beginning. I mean, how does one get started becoming a commercial videographer?
So I would say it all kind of started back when I was like filming and doing small little videos and posting them on MySpace in my backyard when I was growing up.
Okay.
And that was predicated mostly on what my major activity was during my childhood, which was skateboarding. Cool. And me and my brothers, we were always in our backyard. We weren't allowed to go in the front yard all the time. So, hey, let's figure out what we could do in the back. So making videos of us skateboarding, riding BMX bikes, building ramps, doing everything under the roof. And I started making a little bit of videos. I was clicking record and not clicking record and seeing some videos being edited, and that kind of pushed me to be like, all right, what's my first camera I'm gonna buy? So, moved into later years, junior high, then into high school, bought my first camera, and then eventually I was like playing on YouTube, doing some cool little videos here and there, and then I started, kind of just reaching out and seeing how I could market myself as a video talent. Ran into the right people, connected, and just networked my way up to, here, let's shoot some videos for MGK, or let's shoot some videos in a bigger studio, stuff like that. So yeah, it's just been kind of a long stretch, but I've been doing this pretty much my whole life, and it's kind of something that I don't know any different. So
yeah, because you did say MySpace. I mean, we're going back.
Yes,
pretty far back.
A little bit of a history lesson, yeah.
You started doing videos of skateboarding, but I mean, when did you first get the instinct to want to film? Because I mean, like for me, when I did things when I was a kid, it's just, I was doing them because I wanted to do them. I never thought, you know what, let me record this. This should be something pretty cool to get on camera. Like, what was really the spark for you to start recording?
Well, I would say, so I started with photo. I was doing a lot of just basic images of, here, let's take a picture of this tree, or take a picture of my bag. I mean, I had my first ever video camera was a flip video camera, which had like a USB port that literally flipped out the side of the camera. And you would literally plug it into your computer. And at that point, that was some of the first video I would ever do. And I would, again, going back to the skateboarding stuff, like I would actually just go out after school, sit down, record whatever I could, maybe put some music back behind it later that evening, and then we'll just see what we came out with, and kind of try and draw the connection for whatever video I wanted to create. So making my first video and then trying to like move and like really kind of structure what I was doing and make it actual film or bigger projects for companies. It kind of was just like, all right, I'm getting a little bored making these like music videos on my computer, or like, here, this is a B-roll clip of this forest or something stupid like that. I just naturally was curious for, hey, how can I like make this look like it would show up on TV or, on someone's website or something like that. So as soon as I started doing that, I'm like, all right, well, I'm definitely gonna need some better gear. I'm definitely gonna need some better mics and all of that other stuff, maybe a studio space to work in. And lo and behold, my videos got a little bit better. I started learning from the right people. And
yeah, you're a big content guy, right? So you had a YouTube channel,
yes,
back in high school?
Yes.
And what were you doing? You were making games or videos on, was it Call of Duty?
Well, I was doing YouTube, and so growing up, huge gamer, played a lot of Call of Duty, was like logging like 3 to 4 hours a night just playing video games, and that was kind of getting me kind of interested on the internet, and like YouTubers and people who were posting videos of Call of Duty was just getting big at the time. So naturally I was like looking up all the how-tos on YouTube, like how do I actually get better at the game? And I kind of became a little bit obsessed with that. So I'm like, what's the next step for me to actually start making those videos? So I just picked it up one day, went online and like downloaded Windows Movie Maker, started dragging clips in there and found some screen recording software, put that all on and tried to just hook it up to my Xbox and started making videos. So over time, it was what, I think like 10 or 11 months. I had over 9,000 subscribers on one single YouTube page. This is like going back 5 or 6 years ago when YouTube wasn't even that big. Yeah. And I was just accumulating a whole bunch of traffic. I learned a little bit of the ins and outs of like thumbnails and clickbait and just how to generate more clicks on a video.
The marketing side of it.
Literally the marketing side of it. And that was kind of all I needed to know, just to keep making more and more and release more, and then just, all right, here, take that momentum, just like you said, like, and create more. Let's see how many more views we can gross on one page and how much traffic we can generate. And I mean, that was enough for me to just, hey, these are the basic principles of editing a video. How do I take the next step, start shooting the video instead of recording it on my Xbox? And I mean, that was it.
So I mean, you obviously had the creative talent. It was sort of, I guess, in you from the time you were a little kid. You had this creative aptitude. You refined your skills of videography. What was the point when you realized that, hey, I could actually make money doing this thing?
Man, well, I would say that when I was on YouTube and doing some of like my first YouTube full productions, like I was editing the video from start to finish and I made a full project, that was, after doing that for so long, I would kind of look into YouTube and like, all right, well, let me dig deeper on this website and see what I can actually, what benefits I can actually bring from all the videos that I'm creating. Because
So you're always thinking about the next step.
I was thinking about the next step, but you know, the natural, I guess, progression for me was, all right, I have to do this better. There's no way I'm just going to sit here and just put all this time into these videos that I make and, all right, well, it's fun. I'm doing this for fun, but what's the payout or what's the benefit to what I'm doing every single day? So that aside, like me having that conversation with my parents, I have to show them some value. Like, what the hell am I doing sitting there on my Xbox just playing video games, talking to someone on Xbox Live? It was crazy. It was really awesome at the time. But, you know, moving into that, I would make all of these videos. I would try and craft up these cooler projects. And as soon as I would release them, I would think like, all right, well, can I actually put ads in front of these? Can I put something like through Google? Can I do anything just to see if like a company would pay to publish this video somewhere? So I naturally went into YouTube, Google AdSense. They had this craze. They were just starting Google ads on YouTube at the time, right when they bought them out. And that was like the first little step for me to, hey, how can I get promoted, get my page, throwing ads in front of all my videos? And next thing you knew, I was making, you know, close to like $1,000 on just 40 different videos that I made over the course of 6 months. And that was enough for me in high school.
At that point in time? Yeah.
I mean, it was about 6 or 7 months, honestly, on YouTube straight. And that was like when I saw my first check in the mail come from YouTube. And I'm like, wow.
How old were you at the time?
Well, sophomore year of high school, so
14.
Yeah, like 15, 16 at the time, honestly. And I mean, $1,000 at the time, like, holy cow. I mean, I don't know many 16-year-olds who are busting their tail every single day after school, meanwhile getting made fun of while I'm walking through the halls about what kind of gaming videos I was making. Like, that to me was awesome. And regardless of who was making fun of me for it, I would just take that momentum, keep making more videos, and then let's see where this goes. Let's just honestly take it wherever it takes me, and that's kind of...
Dude, yeah, a lot of it today is, you see a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs, you know, starting from high school or even in college, and then a lot of people look at you and they're like, I don't know if you'll make it, you should just get a job or something. Your parents will even be like, oh, why don't you work for this company or work for another company, you know? What is your mindset when people tell you things, or like you kind of feel like they're doubting you in a way? What are you thinking?
How do you fight the hate?
Well, I mean, I guess haters are always going to hate, and you're always going to have someone commenting on your work, regardless of what the work is. You're going to sit down, you're going to do something, and someone's going to have something negative to say about it. That's just how the way life works. And for me, growing up in high school, you know, I'm dealing with Joe Schmo sitting next to me in Spanish class who's, you know, Gaming 101 this, Gaming 101 that. That was the name of my YouTube channel. He's making fun of me playing my videos in class. And I'm like, Jesus, like, what the hell is going on right now? Like, why?
Was it hard for you though? I mean, as a kid, did it hurt at all? Was it?
It was. It was hard in the moment. Obviously, I felt a little bit of anxiety, like, all right, my face is getting a little bit red. Like, come on, I put so much time. I edited that video for 3 hours, and he's making fun of me in front of all my classmates.
You would
like,
think kids would be supportive.
You would think kids would be supportive, right? Honestly, and even going to like a premier high school like St. Ed's, you're still dealing with those same type of people that don't support what you do, or just honestly like haters. Like we mentioned that term, and honestly, for me, I just kind of tried to do it as much as possible and keep the mantra in my head, like, listen, y'all, you guys will see where this is heading. You'll see what I'm making in time, but right now you're not gonna understand it. And I think that's like applicable to pretty much every single thing that we do day to day. Like, you don't need to convince anybody that you're doing anything. You just gotta go do it, and then, hey, they're gonna see eventually down the road that I'm actually working on something, or I'm trying to build this, or we're trying to build a blog, or we're trying
kind of speak for itself.
I mean, seriously, honestly. And then like with that in my head, kind of constantly funneling the videos, and just, I mean, purely with the time that I was spending on it, I'm like, well, if I figure out how to make this happen a little bit quicker, I can be more efficient with my work, keep seeing the views accumulate, those people are going to eventually shut up. They're not going to say anything when there's 1 million views on the video.
Right.
And as soon as there was 1 million views on the video, no one was saying anything. So
yeah,
that was enough convincing for me to say, like, all right, let's take this full time. Like, let's see what we could do with this. And
so on that point, when did you transition from YouTube to now working with brands and doing commercial shoots?
Well, YouTube turned into Instagram videos.
Okay.
And at the time, Instagram was literally just photo page for photo nerds who would take kind of, indie little pictures and put filters on them, and that was their little blog that they would put their extra work on. And for me, I didn't see like this whole marketing, like, here, let me promote all my posts on my Instagram story. Like that was not around at the time.
Yeah.
And when I started making these YouTube videos, I kind of saw YouTube as its own separate like space. Like, okay, you're only making and curating content for your YouTube audience. Mm-hmm. There's no application outside of that. And when I took my skills and bought my first camera and started taking pictures with that, and that was kind of like post YouTube days, that was enough for me to get a little bit of conversation started with some of my friends or some of my peers that were saying, you take pretty decent photos. Like, you kind of got an eye for that. Like, you should definitely start getting paid to do it. And that was curiosity in my head. Like, all right, well, how can I start making money? How much money do I charge for a photo shoot? And, $50.
How do you figure that out?
Well, I mean, I kind of just boil it down in my head. Like, all right, well, how much time am I going to actually spend on a project? Is it 5? Is it 10 hours? And let's break that up. Like, okay, what's my rate on an hourly basis of how long this is going to take? What is this worth? How valuable is my camera? How valuable is my skill and my eye? And I kind of just increased the rate as I got better over the years. And now, it's no longer a $50 shoot. Sometimes it's a $5,000 shoot. Sometimes a $50,000 shoot. I mean, it could literally be anywhere in between. And when you take like a YouTube video that's worth 4 cents in Google AdSense and has been playing for 3 months, and then you compare it to a project that's 90 seconds that's worth $2,000, it's like, those are two completely different worlds, yet we're dealing with the same project. We're literally dealing with the same stuff. It's all video files, it's all in the editing software, it's literally all the same stuff. So, I mean, me going into high school, taking pictures, making that a regular thing, starting to make more video content, and then posting that on Instagram was enough for me to say, like, all right, I could share this shit somewhere else. I could definitely get some more eyes on this. So Instagram videos started getting seen by all my friends, and lo and behold, I kind of just picked up the right conversations, was honestly lucky at some points to be in the room at the right time with the right people, and seriously,
So talk about that first project then. I mean, how and when did you get your first like commercial client? How old were you, and what was that whole process like, the whole experience and the way you went about doing that?
Well, I would say my first client that I had was my buddy of mine. He was in my history class. His name's Max, and he was a painter. And what he did was, he does these crazy lifestyle portraits and paints them like he's 40 years old. I mean, he's my age, and he paints like literally like a full-grown adult. And he wanted me to start making videos of him. Like, here, can you just videotape me paint? Like, can we just do a cool project for the school, or maybe try and put it on blast, like put it on Instagram, on Facebook, let all my family see, and we'll just see how it works. I'm like, all right, $50, let's do it. And sure enough, you know, he took some of his prize money from some of his paintings that won a bunch of awards, and we put that one little project together. And that was like the first time that I went to a location, I set up my camera, I started shooting, I had an idea in my head. And as soon as I produced it, I looked at my project. I'm like, this is awesome. I did this. Like, this is worth the money that I was paid. And I mean, that was literally just the smallest spark that says, all right, what you're doing has monetary value. And how can I bring that value or convince someone else to pay for that value elsewhere down the road? So, I mean, with one little job turned into 2, turned into 4, and then, you know, now we're doing what we do.
And now that you see all the money that's coming in from how great you are at what you do, what's the money mindset that you have? How are you saving? How are you investing? Even if it's investing in yourself or in something else.
Well, I would say it's kind of just this idea in my head that like your balance can't be 0. But you always have to be saving.
Right.
And, you know, on a side tangent, like, okay, we see so many kids nowadays that are like going weekend to weekend, spending every single penny that they just made that last week, literally day in and day out, busting their tail just to scrap together a couple bucks to go pay for drinks on the weekend. Like, that's kind of a skewed just operation in itself. Why are you making money just to spend it all? Yeah, like literally just waste it. It's not providing you any value. And for me, from a young age, like I grew up as a roofer. I was literally tearing shingles off of a 100-degree roof for most of my summers growing up. And that...
So tearing roofs and then skateboarding. Yeah.
I mean, like then the skateboard. Here, let me skid my knees before I skid my shoulders on the roof. You know, it's like that type of labor, that type of ethics and like morals that I was kind of like building into my work character taught me, all right, I could work a little bit less hard with my hands and maybe use my mind a little bit more and try to be a little bit more creative. And then when I would take those little videos and those little projects, they kind of turn into this big operation in my head where I'm like, all right, I got to prioritize what I'm doing right now. Right. I can't let my mom screaming at me about my laundry bother me right now, or I can't let AJ going to the gym, younger brother doing this and that, the dog's yelling, and it's like there's all this noise that comes with production, comes with like you wanting to make something for yourself. And as soon as I kind of figured out like I gotta save some money, I gotta start adding more value in my pocket, videos, how many more videos do I need to make, honestly, to get that value in my pocket? Exactly. So as soon as I would make more videos, sit down and just tell myself like, all right, I gotta spend X amount of hours to make X amount of dollars. If that is any more complicated than what it seems, like I might be missing something. And honestly, now it's just a byproduct of saving, keeping your money in your pocket, not making dumb mistakes. Okay, listen, if that's $400, you better have at least $1,200 in your account, so you're not zeroing it out. Like literally, like if you can't buy it 2 or 3 times, guess what?
You can't afford it.
You can't afford it. And
play that.
I mean, seriously, it's that simple of a concept. For me, it was not about spending all the money. It was about generating revenue in my pocket. How much more can I build, and where can we use that money?
Because I mean, when you were making all the money as a young kid, I mean, 16, 17, 18 years old, I mean, it's probably easy not to think about your future and just kind of blow it all. But I mean, you sort of had that focus pretty early. I'm going to ask you a tough question now, and I want a really honest answer. I mean, you're in college. I don't even know what you're studying. What are you studying right now?
Marketing, currently.
Marketing. So, I mean, you're obviously able to sustain yourself doing the videography more so than most normal jobs can pay you. Why are you still in college?
I think for me, it's more of a self-honoring kind of. It's more of a message for my parents.
Right.
And I grew up in a pretty rough situation. I literally wasn't allowed in my front yard, and I would kind of be forced to just work with my hands or put my head to it in my backyard. And whether that was scraping my knees or picking up a camera or videotape, like whatever it was, those little things kind of taught me, all right, you respect your parents. Like you respect why they put you in a position to, here, listen, you're not gonna go outside or go mess around with the neighbors that you don't know that are possibly inner city people. And it's like, it's just a whole bunch of wrong messages being sent at the time. And for me, over the years, I'm not one to talk down to my dad. I'm not one to talk back to my mom. And I think the only thing that they would want to see me do is walk across that stage because, you know, after all, they are the ones that provided every single opportunity for me 100%. Up until now. So why would I just throw it all away and maybe not go to college for this, you know, the 2 years that I might not get back? You know, I mean, honestly, if we kind of just boil it down, college is the 1 4-year stretch in your lifetime that you will only live next to people that are your same age like that.
Right.
Ever. I mean, you'll only have those opportunities. And I mean, if I'm just thinking out loud, I might want to utilize those. You know, I might want to look back on those when I'm younger, or when I'm older rather. And that is, I mean, for the memory book, like I'm in it for the movie. I want to I want to build my story and see how I'm putting together that film. And I think college is one little part of that. Is one little chapter, you know. I mean,
well said, life's a movie.
Life is honestly a movie.
Everyone else is just the extras.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Because, you know, it's something that's sort of said a lot in this like new age entrepreneurial era where you have all these gurus online telling kids, you know, drop out of school and start a drop shipping business, or drop out of school and this and do that. And I think there's 2 things that I would think about. You know, you going to college, as you rightly pointed out, isn't just about how much money you can make for your degree, but it's about the connections you make, the esteem you build in yourself. Like those things can pay dividends for you later on in your life. And what you also brought up earlier too, that I thought is really important to mention, is that a lot of people's success isn't purely based on hard work. And there's a lot of timing and luck that comes into it as well, being in the right place at the right time. And just because someone is able to succeed doing that doesn't necessarily guarantee that you will. But what you do to make sure you're in the right place is you always keep working on your craft. You always keep making sure you're improving, you're growing. So when the opportunity comes, you're prepared to take it. You know?
Exactly. And I mean, even just kind of piggybacking off of that, if you're not working on something, someone else is. Right? Like if I'm not making my video or shooting it in a space, someone else is somewhere else, and they're going to be getting better. They're definitely bettering themselves in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
And with that mentality, like outside of all the opportunities that we might be granted in our life, and maybe we don't have all the money thrown in our pockets immediately, maybe we can't get the best gear right on day one, it's still, at the end of the day, we're all still sitting down at our computers editing a video. We're still offloading the footage off the SD card, throwing it into the software, and then just piecing it together. This whole operation doesn't change regardless of who the player is on the field. Right. So why would you ever stop? Yeah. Seriously, like why would you? I mean, you're literally just giving yourself X amount of reasons for someone else to pass you up, to get better, to make more money, or just kind of reap the rewards of whatever industry you're in. And I mean, with that mentality, why would you want to go sit in class and listen to some professor kind of blab about something that you're not interested in, or that's not going to provide you any immediate monetary value? I mean, there's so many different ways you can go about it, but at the end of the day, listen, like, someone else might be kicking your ass in what you're doing right now, so you better get after it. You better get after it, honestly.
Yeah. So with that being said, man, for someone that just has like a small startup camera, or maybe their iPhone, what would you tell them to start up if they want to make a YouTube channel, or they want to do what you do, or make content like that? What do you tell them?
I say start with the bare minimum and work with it until you're forced to upgrade, until you're forced to do something better and literally invest right back into whatever that one activity was, right? Like, okay, I was a gamer for a long time. I'm playing on the generic Xbox controller. At some point, I kind of want to give myself the leg up and maybe buy the upgraded controller.
You go into it.
And maybe now we're buying like the weird little map pack, and now I'm playing with better players, and now I'm like overall just building my skill in that one little place, wherever that might be. And if I'm telling a video talent who's trying to start up their career on YouTube and maybe just starting with their iPhone, like, all right, there's iPhones that film in 4K at 60 FPS. Like, some of these cameras don't even do that. Like if that isn't enough information for you to get started with what you're doing, I mean, literally just click record and start recording. See what you can actually make.
Just take action.
Regardless of if it's in your backyard or if it's on, you know, your homework notebook or if it's in your room. I used to make videos all the time of me just skating in the metro parks. Simple things, nothing crazy, but I had some Kanye West song in my headphones and I'm like, all right, I'm feeling this footage, like, let's go edit it. And that energy obviously wasn't at the first base when I was kind of getting home from school, telling myself, like, am I gonna actually make a video right now? Am I actually gonna do this and get better? And, you know, lo and behold, I got a little bit better. I got somewhere. And with that energy, I mean, you're unstoppable at the end of the day.
So real quick, tell us about you turning down Lil Jon.
Basically, I had an opportunity to go shoot at a nightclub here in Cleveland. And, you know, I've done lots of work for them in the past. I know a lot of the DJs who are constantly spinning their tracks night in and just doing whatever the hell they want. So honestly, I could walk in there and just present myself. Everyone knows who I am. And that kind of connection gave me a bigger network to bigger people. So I, you know, naturally came to know some of the people that I work with now, like James Douglas, and those small little connections kind of brought me into one of the bigger DJs at Barley House, or the club that I was going to be recording at. And he texted me one night and was, based on a lot of the other projects that I did for him in the past, he was convinced enough to say, hey, I have a Little John coming in. You wanna do a video for him? And I unfortunately had to turn it down just because I was a little bit busier. But I think, you know, even in the limelight, like, okay, all right, Little John is a big rapper, big talent, you know, huge celebrity. At one point, like, all right, he's at the top of his game. He's all the eyes are on him. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's just another talent. It's just another person. It's just someone who's DJing and going to the club and catching all the, you know, the flashlights in their face and the Instagram videos. It's like, at the end of the day, it really isn't nobody different. I mean, whether you're working with a professional athlete, a professional musician, or an artist, or whatever have you, they're all people at the end of the day. So sometimes turning down your jobs gives you just as much notoriety for the jobs that you say yes to. And I think that's like, you can take that to your grave. I mean, there's so many different things that you might come across in your industry, wherever that might be. And a lot of times it's the no's you say. It's not all about just like, all right, I'm saying yes, 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 yes. Now I'm stretching myself too thin. Now I don't have enough time to work on my craft. It's like, sometimes, hey,
you gotta say,
yeah, I can't do it right now. Sorry, I'm busy. And you know, that kind of works in your favor from time to time.
So last question, the one thing you think contributes most to your success, put it in one word.
It's just gotta be work. It's gotta be work. It's gotta be work. It's action. I mean, if there's one thing I want to get tattooed on my arm, it's do more. Do more. Period. And then that's like, literally, I took that from Casey Neistat. He's a crazy YouTuber. I've been watching him for years, and he's got that tattooed on his arm. I'm like, you know what? That's dope. Let's just do more.
Do more.
Exactly. Do more. Exactly. I mean, just action. Get out and go do something, because guess what? If you're not doing anything, someone else is. So.
Well, that's all we got for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Again, Owen Zubek, commercial videographer, content creator, all around awesome dude. Love shooting with you, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
Again soon.
For sure.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Take care.